So, how do you get those truly remarkable, life-changing results? Well, according to the book Atomic Habits, it's not about some huge revolutionary action. Nope. The secret, it turns out, is in something much, much smaller, something way more consistent and, believe it or not, way more powerful. So, let's dive into how these tiny little changes can lead to absolutely incredible outcomes. But, to really get why this idea is so powerful, we actually need to start with the author's own story. Because this isn't just some theory he came up with. It was a lesson he learned from a crisis that, honestly, nearly cost him his life. I mean, just imagine that for a second. A totally normal day of high school, and then in a split second, everything just changes. This is the moment where his whole journey and really the foundation for this entire system truly begins.
And the impact was just staggering. This was not a minor accident. We're talking multiple skull fractures, 2 shattered eye sockets, and critical, severe brain swelling. His life was literally hanging in the balance.
He was in such a critical state that doctors had no choice but to put him into a medically induced coma. His recovery was going to be a long, painful journey, starting not with these giant leaps, but with tiny, almost unnoticeable steps forward. And it was right there, during that grueling rehab, that he discovered the fundamental lesson behind all of his work. And that lesson? It's the power of 1%. This is the absolute core of the whole thing, this idea that small, consistent improvements are the real secret to massive transformation over time. Let's break down exactly how that works. It's such a simple but powerful idea, right? Success isn't about the one big thing you do. It's about all the little things you do, day in and day out. These small habits, they compound on each other, just like interest in a savings account. Okay, for a fantastic real-world example of this, just look at the British cycling team. For over 100 years, they were completely unremarkable. It got so bad that one top bike manufacturer refused to sell them bikes because they were afraid it would hurt their brand. And then, everything changed. Their new performance director, a guy named Dave Brailsford, introduced this new philosophy. The idea was simple. Break down every single thing that goes into riding a bike, and then just improve each little element by 1%. I mean, everything from the obvious stuff, like the comfort of the bike seat, to the things you'd never think of, like the best way to wash your hands to avoid getting sick. So, what does a 1% daily improvement actually add up to? Well, the math is just staggering. If you get just 1% better each day for a year, you don't end up 365% better. No. Thanks to the magic of compounding, you end up almost 38 times better. And you can see that explosive growth right here. That's the power of 1% daily improvement over time. But, and this is so important, you have to remember this works in reverse too. Getting just 1% worse each day brings you down to nearly zero. Your habits are always compounding, either for you or against you. But here is the catch, and it's a really big one. We all expect our progress to look like a straight line. But in reality, it doesn't work that way. For a long, long time, it can feel like absolutely nothing is happening. This is what the book calls the valley of disappointment, and it's exactly where most people give up, often right before their efforts are about to finally pay off. So, if we know that small habits are the key, why is it still so hard to stick with them? Well, the book argues it's because we're all focused on the wrong thing. We're obsessed with goals when we should be obsessed with our systems. Here's the key difference. A goal is the result you want, right? Like winning a championship. The system is the process that gets you there. It's how you practice, how you recruit, how you train every single day. The argument is simple. If you just focus on improving your system, the goal will eventually take care of itself. And focusing only on goals actually has some serious downsides. Think about it. Winners and losers in any competition, they often have the exact same goal. So what separates them? It's their system. Plus, achieving a goal is just a fleeting, momentary change. Once you hit it, the motivation can just vanish. And that's why so many people revert right back to their old habits. This quote just sums it all up perfectly. It's your system, that collection of your daily habits, that really determines your default level of performance. That's what you can count on, even when your motivation is gone. Okay, so we need to focus on systems. Got it. But how do we build systems that actually stick around? Well, this requires understanding that real change happens on 3 different levels. So think of change like an onion with 3 layers. The outer layer is changing your outcomes, that's the results. The middle layer is changing your processes, those are your habits. But the deepest, most powerful layer is changing your identity, what you truly believe about yourself. Most of us, we try to change from the outside in, but the most effective change, the change that lasts, happens from the inside out. And this right here, this is the absolute game changer. Don't focus on the action, focus on the identity you want to have. The goal isn't just to go for a run, the goal is to become a runner. The shift seems so small, but it is absolutely profound.
Here's a perfect example. Someone who says, "I'm trying to quit," is still telling you that their core identity is that of a smoker. But someone who just says, "I'm not a smoker," they've fundamentally changed how they see themselves, and their behavior is going to naturally follow that new identity. So let's bring this all together. The real key to making change last isn't starting with what you want to achieve, but starting with who you want to become.
The process is actually remarkably simple. Just 2 steps. First, decide what type of person you want to be. A healthy person, a writer, a musician. Then, you just have to prove it to yourself with small, consistent actions. Every little win you have is like casting a vote for that new identity.
And this is exactly why they're called atomic habits. The word atomic has 2 meanings, right? First, it means tiny, like an atom, an irreducible part of a larger system. But second, it refers to the source of immense power and energy. These habits are both incredibly small and unbelievably mighty.
And that really gets to the heart of it all. Every single day, with every small choice you make, your habits are casting votes for the person you are becoming. They are the practical way you embody an identity, little by little. So I'll leave you with the same question the book poses. When you look at your own daily routines, your tiny habits, what kind of person are they building? Who are you voting to become?